y'all. Welcome back to Receive and Relate. I am so glad you clicked on today's video for story time. My name is Tara Walker. Welcome if this is your first time here. If this is not your first time here and you are a returning subscriber or a returning visitor, hey y'all, hey. Okay, so today I'm going to take y'all back to elementary school. So if you've been following me or if you've been watching story time, you know I've shared a lot that's happened to me in regards to being molested or whatever as a child. And now I'm going to tell you just like some different stories that happened as a child. And then a couple of them in high school again. So this story, like I said, I'm taking you back to elementary school. I was in the fifth grade. And okay, so you watch, if you haven't, go and watch it. You watch the story about my first love, okay? My first love. But this story, excuse me, don't mind my nail broke. Don't do that. Don't worry about that. Okay. This story is about my first boyfriend. So my very first boyfriend was in the fifth grade, right? And the reason why he's not my first love, cause he not, okay. The one that was my first love is in that story. But this one was my first boyfriend, so I was so excited to have a boyfriend. So excited that somebody liked the chunky girl, right? And so I think I shared this a little bit, how I had issues with friendships even as a child, right? And so the people that I thought were my friends were not really my friends. And the one girl that I told y'all I was mocking all the time and trying to copy all the time. Oh my God! Every time I think about it, I just be like, what was you thinking about? Like, but yeah, she was in my class again in the fifth grade, and it was no better. It was still her and the other girl that was her friend that couldn't stand me. Um, and so I think I think I think the boyfriend, because I don't remember seeing him the year before, so I think he got there that year too. I think that was his first year. Um, but nonetheless, um, I remember him in the story. The story is in the book Cage Girl, which will be linked in the description box below. But I remember him like asking, like I think he was outside in the hallway, yeah, and he had asked me for my number, and I remember being so shocked, like, you want my number? Like, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to like play it off, but it was hard to like play it off because nobody, I know other no other little boy, which that's what it was, little boy, had asked me for my number. I always was like teased or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like I was the chubby girl, so I wasn't the one that was getting flirted with and stuff like that. So getting flirt with, and so when he asked me, it was like it took me back, and I was like, I was like, my number, and he was like, yeah, like why not? And I was like, okay, and so I gave him my number. Now, unbeknownst to me, the girls was like not far away, and they seen what happened. So of course, they teased me and everything going into the class and whatever. So now here's the thing, okay? This is my first boyfriend. I'm super excited, but instead of my friends being happy for me or whatever, every chance they got, they joned on him. And if you don't know what joning is, I'm from, well, they call it the DMV, right? But it's certain parts of Maryland that are different. For example, currently I stay right now in Baltimore. Where I grew up was called PG County, Maryland, which is right outside of DC. And and the two cities cannot be two areas could not be any more different, right? So I don't know what they say up here, but where I'm from down there, PG County, outside of DC, we use the word joning, which means like you dissing somebody or you like cracking jokes on somebody, whatever it is that you call it, and wherever you from, that's what we call it. We call it joning. Technically, me and my husband still call it that. I don't know what they call it now, but that's what we still call it. For example, you'll hear me say Bama a lot. We used that when we was younger. When we call somebody a Bama, me and my husband still use the word to this day. So anyway, he didn't have, okay, we wore uniforms, right? So I couldn't tell how he dressed or whatever, but we could wear, I think we had the uniforms was black and white. So I think the shoes had to be like a black, a white, both color, or like a navy blue. And I remember who I'm telling my age. He had a pair of, they were called Etonics, I believe. Ooh, that was a long time ago. And if you, okay, I'm trying the best way to describe him. If you were a Reebok fan back in the day, they look like, I don't want to Google right now because I'm recording. Cause I'm looking at my phone right here like I should Google it right now. But the way they were, this okay. If you know what Reebok Classics are, it's like I feel like they tried to make them on along the lines of those, right? The thing wasn't bad. It wasn't the brand. They were in style, but he had them. I don't know if he was running in them, playing in them, wrestling in them, and coming to school in them. But them joints was a bit ran over. You know what I'm saying? But he my boyfriend. He eventually after we exchanged numbers, okay, just fast forward a little bit, he ended up becoming my boyfriend. And he was my boyfriend, and I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? He liked me, but every chance they got, they talked about his ran over Etonics, right? And it used to make me so bad. It used to hurt my feelings too. Now I don't ever know if he ever heard them. I don't because when he would be standing, or if he and I was together, they wasn't far away. So I don't know if they was loud enough that he could hear them, or if he just ignored them. But I know I could hear him, right? I knew they was talking about him and joning on him and stuff like that. And it hurt my little feelings because I was just like, this my man, like leave my man alone. But what happened was I'm gonna say his name. Who almost said his name? His real name. I don't know what it was with him. I don't know if he got teased about me. You know what I'm saying? Remember, I'm the chubby girl, right? Or what? Or he just, and this is like, listen, I'm not trying to, I want to offend anybody. But I was getting ready to say, like, he had bipolar because he kept breaking up with me. And then he would ask me to go out with him again. And he would break up with me and he would ask me to go out with him again. And it was just like, I'm going to combine two chapters in one. And it was just so, I was just like, oh my God. Like, it was like, like a ping pong. But every time he asked me, I would say yeah again. Because I was just that pressed for a boyfriend. Up until the very last time. But I'll go into that later. Let me tell you what had happened while we was together. So, we try and be grown in school, right? And this is the devil. Let me listen. Your friends the friend will show you who they are. When people, like Maya Angelou said best, when people show you who they are, believe them. So it was a period between because we had we switched classes, right? That year we first started doing the switching classes thing, and it was a time in between before we switched class. I don't know, I can't remember which class we were switching from, but there was a period in between, and it was a whole bunch of couples. It was a whole bunch of people and a whole bunch of couples out in the hallway. So the crowd like surrounded. What happened was the crowd like egged the couples on to kiss, right? And so we was all, I'm telling you, I don't know how all of us was out there, but it was a whole bunch of us, right? So it was this first couple kiss and everybody was around and like cheering them on. Then the next couple kiss and then everybody was around cheering them on. And I was too shy to be kissing in front of nobody, but sure enough, okay, the friends like kind of encouraged us and pushed us out there to do it, right? And so did the other people once they found out, because everybody didn't know we was together. Like it was other grades out there too. We was in the fifth, so the sixth graders was out there. It was a bunch of people out there. So not everybody knew we was a couple, but they knew. And so they was pushing us. They was like, y'all go ahead, y'all go ahead, y'all go ahead. So finally, when I finally agreed to do it, I looked at him. He looked at me. I was like, all right, come on, let's do it. We didn't realize that it was almost time for the classes to switch, so everybody to go. And you already know what I'm about to tell you, right? So once we do our little kiss, now mind you, my eyes closed, his eyes closed too. We do our little, well, whatever we call it, trying to be grown. And everybody dispersed. And the only reason I knew everybody dispersed and roll out was because I heard the voice of one of the mean. When I tell you, she was just she wasn't mean as in like evil. She just was a disciplinarian. Like she ain't play no game. She was old school, and I think I named her. I remember her name. I remember her real name, literally clearly, but I didn't name her name. And of course, I didn't name her real name in the book. I think I named her Miss Bloomberg or something like that. So we gonna call her Miss Bloomberg for the sake of this video too. When I heard Miss Bloomberg, she was an African American lady. When I heard her voice, my heart dropped to the soles of my feet. You hear me? And then that's when I opened my eyes, and everybody had, when I say they went ghost like ants, they was gone. Like it wasn't a soul in sight but us. We was the only two people left in that hallway. And she screamed my name. She said to God, I think she used to call me Tara, because my name is Tara. It's pronounced Tara. And she was like, Tara, what are you doing out here? And she had like a little twang to her voice or whatever. She I really wonder if she's still living this day. I would love to see her. But anyway, she said, what are you doing? What are y'all doing? You ain't supposed to be kissing this little boy. And she had snatched us apart or whatever. When I tell you she yanked us up like she was my mama, I was so scared. Because this lady did not play no game. When I tell you she ain't play no games, man. And then, I just was like shooketh, right? So I was just like, so she was like, I should tell your mama. I was like, please don't. Please don't. We're going to call Miss Bloomberg. Please, Miss Bloomberg. Please don't tell my mama. Please don't tell my mama. Please. And then she was like, get to class, right? Me and him, I don't even know if we had the same class, but we walked so daggone fast. I was scared out of my mind for the rest of the day. And then I was like, nah, she ain't gonna tell. She ain't gonna tell. She ain't gonna tell. She gonna, I'm in my mind. You know how you talk to yourself. I'm talking to myself in my mind. I'm like, she not gonna tell. She gonna let me off with a warning this time. She ain't gonna tell. She ain't gonna tell. Man, did she? I get home, and so y'all remember if you watched the story before when my when I got caught. Yeah, I did release that with the boy under my bed, right? With the dude by my sister, and we was trying to have sex, and we got caught by my sister, right? That was the first time my father smacked me across my face. This time was the first time he beat the daylights out of me. This was my father. When I was little, I've already shared this. When I was little, before he switched up on me, he was the apple of my eye. He was my everything, right? He was, and I was his everything. So when he switched, it was a big deal. It was traumatic for me, right? So, but he never spanked me. He had never, even through the yelling at me and stuff like that, he had never beat me before. Now my mother did, okay? My mother gave me spankings, but my father never did. So this day, when he found out, well, I tell you, he slammed me up against the wall, and he used to have, and my father was he worked at the Pentagon. He was top. I'm about to say top flight security, but he was though, like he was top supervisor, right? And so he wore the uniform, and them had them thick police belts, them thick black leather police belts. He took that bad boy off and whooped me with that thing. Man, I don't know if I was more hurt that of the police belt or just hurt that my father was actually whooping me. But I got my first beating by him. He beat the daylights out of me. She sure enough told. She told. Listen. They was snitching on me back then. My sister told on me years later. Miss Bloomberg told on me. Listen, I couldn't catch no break. But okay. So going back to him. Okay, him breaking up with me. So let me go back to that. So after that, I think he did. He broke up with me after that. Then he asked me to go out with him again. I did. Then he broke up with me again. Then he asked me again. and then he broke up with me again. This time that he broke up with me this time, right? I was done with it, but also because he embarrassed me so bad. Okay, so I was in my class and he came out in the hallway. And you know how, I don't know how the doors look on schools now. I ain't been in no elementary school and I don't know how long. But they used to have the little windows that you could peek through. I'm pretty sure they still do. You could, glass window in the door. And so he peeked through the glass window. Now, what's so crazy about what I'm about to tell y'all is I cannot read lips. I'm listen. I had 20/20 vision until I was 42. I still can see far. Right, it's the close up that I be needing my glasses for. But I cannot read lips. I read them that day. I read them clear as day. And the girl, remember I said the friends, right? So it was the friend that didn't like me being friends with the friend, right? She ain't like me. She seen him. It was, of all people, the one that couldn't stand me, seen him come to the window too, right? Remember the ones when they was teasing and joning on him? So okay, her. So, but I didn't know it until after he did what he did. So when he came to the window, he was like, he said, I don't want to go with you no more. I knew, like I said, I couldn't read no lips, but I read them that day. And then she snickered, and that's how I knew she saw him, right? She knew what he said. And then, of course, she went to go whisper and tell me. I was so embarrassed. I was like, you couldn't call me out in the hallway and tell me that? Like, but that was, that was my last straw. After that, like, I was like, I can't do it. And like I said, to this day, I can only assume, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if he was getting teased about me or what it was with him, but he just couldn't, it was the breaking up and get back together for me. It was too much. Even at 10 years old, it was too much, okay? But yeah, that is the story of my first boyfriend and my first beating from my daddy. And yeah, so there's gonna be some more to come. I'm gonna give a couple more, a few more stories of when I was a kid. So stay tuned. If you like this story, I encourage you to subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, come back because I'm gonna be giving more. Okay, this story and others are in my memoir, Cage Girl. Link in the description box below. Um, yeah. So if you would like to sow into the ministry, that would be beautiful. That information is also in the inbox below. Again, I hope you come back. If you can relate to anything like this, like if you had a boyfriend or if you're a dude watching and you had a girlfriend, she just kept breaking up with you and you ain't know she was acting real, you know what I'm saying? Let me know in the comments below, or just let me know if you can relate, all right? Because people receive when they can relate. And till next time, I love you, but know that God loves you more. See you next time. Bye.